girls or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But you know, you should be just rewarded by the quality of your work.
Actually feel proud that I saw women on the front line, you know, standing there saying we want our rights back. So that was pretty awesome. But
G'day Tasmania, I'm ZELINDA Sherlock and this is my co-host Raj Chopra. And this is SR Studios' Tassie Talks, a show about you, about Tasmanians and your beautiful experiences on this island that we all call home. This is Season 1, Episode 1 of Tassie Talks, where we have guests on our show talking to us about their experiences on their road to leadership. Okay Raj, let's talk. Who do we have on the show today?
Alright, we are in the studio and we're joined with both of our guests today. I'm just going to introduce the first one who moved from Indonesia in 1999 to Melbourne, have done 3 different degrees from Monash University, ranging from international business to environment, currently studying psychology, is also a trainer, a nurse and a great musician. So let's welcome Nadira.
Hello.
Thank you, Raj. And now, our second guest. Our second guest was born in Nepal and moved to Tasmania a number of years ago. She is an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and a leader in her community. She has various different degrees and a master's. She is also the very first person to open MoneyQuest Australia here in Tasmania. I would like to welcome our guest, Meghna.
Alright, so let's get on with our show. The purpose of today that we have gathered to ask some really interesting questions from both our guests. So first question is for you, Nadira. As a female leader, what has been the most significant barriers in your career that you might have faced during your time in Australia or overseas? Have you been confronted with gender-related roadblocks in your career?
I'm not too sure about the word leader. I'm just doing things. I'm just trying to do what I like to do and work in the field that I'm interested in. But in the previous career, when I was working as an environmental consultant, this was back in Melbourne days when I first started, I realized that I was working really hard and, you know, as it turned out now in hindsight, reflectively, I wasn't bad at all. I was actually quite good. But I had this impostor syndrome, I suppose. You know, I've never felt like I was good enough, maybe because, you know, English was not my first language and because I was a female. But then came along this person, a new staff, who had less experience than me, and just because he was a guy and I found out he got paid a lot more than me, and so that was a rude awakening. And since then, I started noticing a little bit more of the different treatments that I received compared to my male counterparts, I suppose.
And how does that make you feel as a person?
Not quite great, actually. Because, you know, in my mind, whoever you are, if you are a worker, as long as you're a great worker and you produce a good quality outcome or whatever it is that is expected by your company, and you should be rewarded accordingly. It doesn't matter who you are, boys or girls or whatever. It doesn't matter. But, you know, you should be just rewarded by the quality of your work.
Absolutely. I think we can all agree on that. Let's move on to asking something from Meghna as well. So Zelinda, do you want to shoot off?
Yeah, look, I just want to comment as well on what you were saying and just flow on from that. And I think we do have those instances where we feel as though there are limitations as a result of certain societal pressures, which then comes to my question to you, Meghna, with regards to traditional cultures and sometimes the limitations that women feel in traditional cultures. And how do you feel about that, with being very involved in your community, being a leader in your community as the Vice President and also a state coordinator as well? Do you feel as though being a female restricts certain freedoms for you in that traditional context?
Well, I come from a very small town in Nepal where women obviously are very different to how they are here. And I have grown up and I've spent a huge part of my life in that sort of culture. Coming here, I have found that there is actually there's a lot more acceptance for women to become who they are. And that traditional role that I grew up with you know, I think a lot of, I'm not sure if other women do, but I personally, because I've grown up in that culture, I do have this conflict of, you know, okay, I have this acceptance to be who I am, but can I be who I am? So I think a huge portion of it also comes from the mindset that we already have, you know, so the mindset that we have built over years for like, you know, 20 years, 21 years, and then we come here for 5 years and we're not sure whether we'll actually be accepted by the society and that way. But me personally, I feel that we have a more accepting sort of mindset from men and women altogether compared to the traditional roles and traditional environment that we actually come from.
Yeah.
Just one observation on that, and we have noticed that sometimes. Do you think a lot of us, I mean, I moved from subcontinent as well, do we bring all that baggage with us, all the traditional values, like you were saying, the feeling that you have, and certainly you have, you know, gone out and made your way out. But do you think that we carry that kind of baggage with us when we move here?
Absolutely. Look, I personally have grown up with a mindset that I can be whoever I want to be, but that is the household that I have, you know, that is the household that I belong to. But I also belong to a community in Nepal where the mindset that I have is not accepted. So I believe that a lot of women are still, you know, in the back end, and they're still, you know, not upfront and not out there to do things and to be who they want to be because of that mindset that they carry as a baggage since they come here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can resonate very well with that because growing up, being born and growing up in Jakarta in Indonesia, again, similar to you with your family and my family, they're pretty relaxed in that regard. But the society, they impose, I suppose, to an extent, their values, you know, like, you're a girl, okay, you go to school, you finish uni, you get your degree, get a good job, get married, kids. So that's the only way that I thought, I suppose, you know. So when I got here, you know, when I got here, then I started seeing a different perspective and views. And like you said, you can be whoever you want to be. You don't have to follow this traditional role to be successful in your own eyes, or to be useful and helpful and be, what do you call it, a valuable member of the community, I suppose. You don't have to hold or perform these traditional roles just to be a good person.
I wonder because you come from a psychological, like you were studying psychology as well.
We're just started, not that far yet. Relax now. Still a few years yet.
I wonder if it is a psychological thing as well, that, you know, when you say, do you carry a baggage, there are traces of that baggage that you have to, you know, challenge yourself to come out of and to leave behind and, you know, say, okay, I do have those, like I personally do face that. I do face situations where I feel conflicted in terms of whether I should do things or not, but I still go ahead and do it because I do not want to pass that to my next generation. I don't want them to have second thoughts about what they want to do. So so when we change that mindset, I think the changes come from there.
And I think that's a really important point that she makes, right? That it's, you know, it's something that we constantly have to think about ourselves, constantly that we're challenging ourselves as well. And I suppose then what would you say would be your advice to the next generation, knowing that?
Me personally, I mean, to the next generation, there's two categories. One will be the leaders and one will be the followers. For the leaders, I would say when you are in a position of leadership, you also carry a huge responsibility to, you know, to choose to be a certain way, because that is a message. You know, what you say, what you do is a message for other people, for your followers, right? And for the followers as well, you have a choice as to who you want to follow, because that is a personification of who you are. So I would say that, you know, be wise with your choices of who you want to be as a leader and who you want to follow as a follower.
That's wonderful advice.
And just one question, we are coming to that. We did talk about the employment bit. I know you are self-employed, you run your business, and Nadira is working as well, different jobs and stuff like that. Have you seen or noticed some of the patterns over the years about women who work in self-employment or a different industry, things they could be doing better to advance their careers?
Well, I would say upskill yourself. You know, I've seen a number of women, I mean, I come from a migrant community. I'm a very proud migrant. I always say that every time. So, but I see that a lot of women who are migrants, it's that time in our lives. A lot of women who I think are in Tasmania right now came to Australia in 2000, 9, 10, 11 or 12. And we are at that age in our lives when we have babies. You know, a lot of us, I think if you go around, you see a lot of women who are pregnant and, and you spend 8 or 9 months at home because also, I mean, there's a lot of other dynamics like visas and personal lives and, journey of your life and all those things. So I think there are a lot of women at home who spend 8 to 9 hours a day at home literally doing nothing. Upskill yourself, take that time to learn things. If you want to be a nurse, do an online course about some first aid, or I don't know, something that is very relevant to what you want to be or what you want to do. And I think like time is very important. That time that you spend is not going to come back, so I would just say upskill yourself.
Going back to your question about the message for the future generation. You were very eloquent in your answer, while my answer would be very straight. Just have a crack. That's what I say. Just whatever you want to do, like if you're curious about doing something, you just do it. When I look back in my own experience, especially when I wanted to become jazz singer, I didn't go to music school. I can't read notes. Still struggling. But I persevered, and it wasn't easy at all. Even when I first started, a grown man bullied me to start with, because initially I started, like collaborating, I suppose, with this person. And as it turned out, there was an event where I didn't want to follow his direction. And I just said, nah, I disagree, kind of thing. And then, they didn't like it. And then as it happened, then I just realized that if I wanted to have things done, if I want to achieve something, like it's never going to be easy. So you just have to just push on through, and don't forget, there's always help. There's another thing with the younger generation, especially the female ones, like stand your ground, be brave. And if you're stuck, I suppose, or if you feel scared or a bit lost, ask. It's the people that you trust.
And I think that's wonderful advice she gives. Be brave, stand your ground, have a crack.
Pretty much.
And I think ZELINDA, what we have noticed over the years living in the community here, I personally think I have never come across a program which educates men who have moved from different countries about how do you get rid of that baggage or the patriarchal society mindset. Do you think, Meghna or Nadira, both of you, just quickly, do you think there is a massive need to educate men on that side as well?
That would be helpful. That would be helpful.
Absolutely. Well, me personally, I think I'm just glad to be around great men. So I've always found them to be very supportive and accepting of who I am and who I've become in my family. But also, like you said, I have met men who have had who are extremely patriarchal, and they want women to be a certain way. And I do think they need to be educated through programs. So, but having said that, I've also seen those men, because those men have never been taught. So it's about how we actually approach them is the most challenging thing. I have met men who want to change, but they do not know how to. Because they have. I mean, I'm sure you would know, Raja. Like we have some households in our countries where men have never ever even washed a cup.
Absolutely.
They would never have made a cup of tea, right?
Trust me, I do.
That's where it starts.
I hope you do. He's going to go home and cook dinner later.
That's what he was saying.
And I think that's a really important point. It's about education.
Exactly.
And I think everything does come down to that little bit about education. And we need to, when we do have baggage that we bring into different societies or cultures that we go into, we need to be educated on various different things that help us then become a contributing member of our society as well.
And I would like to, is that similar in Indonesia as well? Do you have that sort of a patriarchal society? Wow.
Definitely.
I didn't think
I think it's generalized Asian, I suppose. And then I don't know about the religion, if religions, come into part, because with Islam background, like like wife must serve the man and all that. But in this day and age, like as you said, I am very fortunate to be surrounded by great men, like my brothers, my uncles. They're all great. Like they take on the the responsibility with their partner's wife, whatever. Like kind of on par. They share their responsibilities and whatnot. But I've seen some men who still think like that, like, oh, it's the women's place in the kitchen and all this and that. But having said that, though, I don't know if you recall when the Abbott was the PM, didn't he make some comments about, like the wife's women's place, in the kitchen, like doing some sort of ironing or wash the dishes or something. I don't know. I can't remember. There's so many remarks from his time. So, like it looks like, or it sounds like it's not just limited to continental men.
Absolutely.
Men with multicultural diversity, but white men.
It's a patriarchal society as a result of that.
I think it's a very important point for our viewers as well, that men also have the responsibility to change their mindset, and
absolutely.
if you are watching this show or listening to some of these comments, if you're offended, certainly there is a need to address that because it's a very crucial question that we've asked today.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Thank you so much for all your comments. I suppose I'll just have one last question, and maybe going on from what's happening globally and for some of the comments that you've just talked about. Perhaps if you could share your feelings with us about what is going on in Afghanistan and certain rights of women's, of course, being taken away. How does that make you feel emotionally, and any message that you may have?
Well, I personally feel very strongly for them. But I also feel proud because I saw a photo, I think, on BBC where a lot of women were actually protesting, And I don't think that would have happened 10 years ago. Women would not have had that courage to go there and say, no, we want our rights. So America was, this is just a political opinion, but America was not going to be there forever, for the 100 years, unless they completely captured the place. So one day they would have to stand for themselves. And I actually feel proud that I saw women on the front line, standing there saying we want our rights back. So that was pretty awesome. But I really hope it gets sorted soon and they get their rights back.
Yeah, it was pretty sad to start with, but similar with what you just said, I was pretty damn proud when I saw that bravery, that courage, But it is disheartening, isn't it? Seeing all of those great women
getting
who
goosebumps even when I think about it.
And certainly, Malala Yousaf is a great example of that, a few years back when she stood up for the women's right of education. And I mean, the way she speaks, the book she's written, it's just amazing and so powerful. Just to see that, what she's done for the community based around that area. Fantastic. Yes. So we are coming to a little bit of a fun part of the show.
Okay. Yes.
And ZELINDA is going to explain what that fun part is.
Let the game begin.
Thank you, Raj. Well, we're actually going to play charades. And for those of you who don't know what charades is, there'll be a little bit of acting going on. So Raj will pick a card, and alternatively I will pick a card, and we will act out whatever is on the card. You will guess. Whoever is the first to guess gets 1 point.
Great,
first to 3 wins something very special that Raj has actually bought in. Good?
Fantastic.
Very excited.
Okay, so that's an interesting one. We got objects and things.
Objects, okay.
Objects and things.
Objects and
It's
things.
very defined.
I'll hand it back to ZELINDA so she knows the answer as well. And you might be able to get it straight away.
A bird.
Tail?
A dog.
Tail.
Exactly. When I first time saw this, I said dog as well. So you're 100% fine. I think it's my turn to flip the coin.
Okay. I'll grab it.
I'll let
thank
you.
you.
Okay.
This one is act it out. Act it out. Okay, ready?
Out.
Act it out. Okay.
Resting. Meditating. Yoga.
Yeah!
Oh
Nadia, I got it. So we have the score of 1 each.
Yeah, on each, Raj. Okay, off you go.
Okay.
Funny.
Act it out. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
I've got the most funny one. How do I do that?
Toilet.
Exactly. That's gonna look really funny on the camera.
There you go.
Okay,
How many
2,
do we
1.
have? Is that the last one?
Yeah, best of 3.
2, 1.
Yeah. Hey, that's the last one
Okay.
or not. Oh, this one's hard. People, characters.
Oh.
Okay? People, characters. Oh, I don't even know how to do it.
What's
Slippery.
that? Hulk.
What is that?
Hulk. Dinosaur.
You have to act it out a little bit better.
Oh.
Sad. You're so sad.
Gorilla.
You're a zombie.
That is the perfect answer. So that saves us from me doing
That was really good.
Oh my god.
Thank you for saving me.
That's
So Nadia is the winner for the charades round, and we will give you the gift at the end. when we are done.
We're all winners though. We're all winners.
Alright, so we are back from the charades game now, and we are about to end the show today with a rapid fire round, which I have prepared, and I'm going to ask all our lovely ladies these questions. So how we do it, when I ask the question, I go 1, 2, 3, and you only have a couple of seconds to answer that. You can't take longer than that, you can pass, and then the second person goes. Okay, so the first question is all about Tasmania. Name a mountain in Tasmania.
Wellington.
Cradle Mountain.
Kunani.
Konani, it's the same thing.
Yeah. That's all I had.
You're just changing the name.
Yeah, you didn't say we couldn't.
Okay, second question. Local radio channel.
ABC.
ABC Sports.
100.9.
1.9. Fantastic. Name 2 beaches of Tasmania.
Lauderdale. Oh no! Sandy Bay and Lauderdale.
7 Mile Beach.
2.
2 beaches. 7 Mile and Crescent Bay. Oh, is that a beach?
That's not a beach.
South Eaglehawk Neck.
You had time to think.
Yeah.
Eagle Hawk Neck is not
that
a beach.
See, that's the beach.
It's a fabulous beach.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyway.
anyway.
It's amazing.
Town in northwest Tasmania.
Queenstown.
Strawn.
Zian?
Zeehan.
Yeah, Zian. Zian.
Is that a town?
Yes.
You're just making it up. Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Bread of Tasmania.
Crisp.
Oh,
Bread of Tasmania. No, pass.
But
yeah, I was going to say crisp.
crisps, yeah, that's fine. Crisps.
Crisps.
is the
I was
answer.
going to crisps.
That's the only board we have seen on the road, the bread of
I don't
Tasmania.
know.
Oh my god.
Okay, the last 2 questions are coming here. Museum of Tasmania.
Mona.
Oh, Mona. And then the City Museum.
Yeah, T-Mac.
That's the one.
T-Mac. And what is Tasmania usually called?
Slovak. I mean.
I'm sure we have to cut that out of the show, but that's fine.
Tassie.
The Apple Isle.
The Apple Isle. And those who don't know, I think it's called Van Diemen's Land as well previously.
yes.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming and taking your time out and doing this show with us. I think it's highly crucial that we continue to host these talks. And any last words, Zelinda?
I just want to say thank you very much to both our guests for being absolutely wonderful and for sharing their opinions, their feelings, and for opening up their heart and telling us exactly what they feel without any reservation. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because Nadia won the charade, you can choose.